I'm trying, as I said, to live the present and to enjoying, what I'm doing, and don't forget where I am, because I think it's a really privileged position, and I have to keep that in focus, But also sometimes I'm trying to say to myself, okay, jokes apart, enjoy it, but stay also focused and think about what you have to do to step on court and to give the 100% that you have. So it's a balance, I think, between enjoying and be focused.
Please take your seats quickly, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Tennis Week with Joel, Kim and Chris. On today's Wimbledon Day 11 catch-up.
Paolini makes it back-to-back finals in Epic.
Krejcikova comeback rumbles Rybakina.
And Britain's Henry Patton reaches his first ever Grand Slam men's doubles final.
Kim, today is the 11th of July and we are here to catch up on day 11 from Wimbledon at Tennis Weekly HQ. Ladies semi-finals day has been and gone, and Barbora Krejcikova as well as Jasmine Paolini are your ladies singles finalists. What a couple of matches we have had today, Kim. A few records being broken as well. And we are back. We are back in the bowels of Wimbledon. The rain it poured, didn't it, over the last hour or so? So we've had to take shelter and take refuge in our sort of little cubby hole room for recording.
Yeah, it's absolutely chucking it down as we speak. But we did have a lovely rainbow.
At least it's not during the day's play.
Yeah, they had the roof open for the semi-finals, which was nice. But yeah, there's a rainbow out, which is very, very
double
pretty.
rainbow.
It was a double rainbow. Everyone was just standing on the balcony.
I wanted you to take a nice photo of me in front of the rainbow.
Which I did.
Hang on. You strategically made it look like the rainbow is coming out of my head.
Well, it's a bit like a halo, Joel. I thought you'd like it.
Is my head at the end of the rainbow, not a pot of gold?
Well, I mean, Paolini will be looking for a pot of gold come Sunday.
Well, she's going to get a pot of gold.
Well, yes, but she'll
Depends
be wanting
how big that
the
pot
bigger
of gold
pot
is,
of gold, because she is into her first Wimbledon final. And she beat Donna Vekic today in an absolute classic. It's the longest ever women's semi-final in Wimbledon history, beating the previous record by, I think, just 2 minutes. So, not by much. But Paolini coming from a set down to defeat Donna Vekic in a last set tiebreak. What a match, Joel. Absolutely incredible encounter.
Yeah, it was fantastic. The atmosphere was electric. I think, we've seen contests that have been maybe better kind of quality-wise, but in terms of pure drama, both players really feeling it. Paolini just not going away from Donna Vekic. It really was a match that ebbed and flowed throughout, and it just kept you guessing until the very end.
I mean, in that final set, Paolini was, twice a break down. She then, won it on that final set tiebreak. Donna Vekic was in, tears. It was so dramatic and obviously so emotional for, everyone involved. But what did it really come down to? Because it was, such an up and down match. Donna Vekic, winning that first set 6-2 pretty comfortably. And then who would have thought
she was
that...
all over the Paolini serve.
Yeah.
Particularly her second serve. It just, it was just not working for Paolini. She won just 5 of 17 points on her second service in that first set. And Vekic seemingly was just on top of everything. But by the end of it, I mean, the body language and the energy that Vekic was giving, it was very negative. It was clear that something, was wrong. She spoke in press about her arms hurting. She didn't really know how she finished the match. And really that was to Paolini's advantage, because the longer she kept going, the more she just kept being in there. Her resilience and her kind of toughness to kind of stick it out, it really paid dividends in the end, where Vekic was sort of throwing in the towel a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Vekic has had a lot of 3-set matches. I think this was her 4th straight match. And she did say, I mean, she said she had a lot of pain in her arm and her leg. She said she thought she was going to die in the 3rd set, which sounds very dramatic, but she must have been feeling really, really terrible. And in that moment, no wonder she was crying. I mean, the fact that you're on
It's
centre court doing that,
yeah.
having those emotions and those
especially
thoughts.
with what's on the line, for Donna Vekic, the journey that she has been on, the injuries and all of that stuff that coming in, just in the course of her career, it just meant maybe that there was a little bit of extra baggage there was kind of weighing on her. And it was unfortunate, I think, that, as I say, in that final set, it almost felt like she's just was going for broke, going for winners, because her movement it felt sluggish at times. And there was a lot of sort of her just hands on hips thinking, oh, I can't believe this has happened to me at this moment.
I mean, what did Paolini do so well, though, to turn it around, and to stop the momentum that Vekic, clearly had in that first set? It's real effort from Paolini to kind of come through this one. And, she had a really close encounter with Madison Keys a couple of rounds before, and obviously Keys had to retire in that final set. But what did Paolini do so well to just kind of have that strength to come through?
I think it's sort of like a little bit like Carlos Alcaraz. I think she thrives and feeds off the energy of the crowd. And it just wasn't clicking for her in that first set. She almost looked a little bit subdued. And to me, it almost didn't feel like she didn't belong on the court. And as a result, we were seeing lots of unforced errors from her. And I wasn't really seeing that firebrand strategy from her that we've come to expect. But the more and more that match grew, I think she got the fans on her side and used that as like the boost that she needed to raise her level. And I'd say her resilience, I mentioned it earlier, but her resilience just to kind of stick with Donna Vekic, just sort of being that sort of pest, I think, of just being there and waiting for your moment. Because I honestly think that the majority of this match, Donna Vekic was up. She was a set up. Even in the second set, I think she was only broken towards the end of it. It just felt like this was Donna Vekic's to lose. And, as I say, the belief and confidence that Paolini plays with, it was like, she's going to have her moments, but ultimately I'm going to come out as the winner.
Yeah, and Paolini, she really was trying to find her rhythm early on, and then she managed to kind of get it going and, change her body language, because she's normally such a, positive, upbeat player. And when you do see her kind of slump a bit and look a bit subdued, it's, that's not really the brand that we know.
Will the real Jasmine Paolini step forward? Yeah.
Please stand up. Yeah. I mean, also what's fantastic for Jasmine Paolini, she reached the French Open final on clay. Here she is in a Wimbledon final, about a month later on the grass. It's not often that a player kind of comes from nowhere, really, has the year of her life, makes 2 back-to-back finals on 2 different surfaces. And actually, interestingly, she was asked in press about, the transition onto those surfaces and her game on grass. So let's have a little listen to her now.
I don't know. I think, I can hit the ball really, really strong, I think. But also moving for me, it's important. I have to repeat it because I can defend as well. So I don't know. But I try to ask. Today I'm trying to ask to my coach. But I think he would say that, I can play good because I can, hit the ball strong and I think so. I think he would say that because I hit the ball strong. But I don't know. I will ask.
I'm not going to lie. I was thinking, hang on. I feel like there are other players on the tour who hit a harder ball than Paolini. But when I look at the stats count and the winners count, again, I'm like, well, hang on. Actually, the numbers can't lie.
Are people underestimating Paolini because she's quite petite? So do they just assume, she's not going to be as powerful as someone else? But, she does have a lot going.
I definitely think, she does make up for it, I think, in terms of her ground strokes. And also her net play as well. I wasn't really sure, with Donna Vekic in terms of, she did incorporate the drop shot quite a lot, bringing Paolini forward. And I was a bit like, hang on, does she know Jasmine Paolini's an accomplished doubles player as well? Because it wasn't really, working for her. And on the other hand, I think with Paolini, she was just able to keep Vekic on the run. And the more that went on, the energy, the battery sort of drained The energy left the tank of Vekic, and that I feel was when Vekic was on the ropes. And for Paolini, she does have that power. The only thing I worry about is the serve, because the second serve, I was thinking, or at the time I was thinking, even Krejcikova, but also Rybakina, they are just going to eat up and marmalise that second serve. She's going to need to have a very good service day, I think, to make sure that isn't an issue for her getting broken.
I mean, she's got a lot of development in her game to do. So the fact that she's got to 2 slam finals.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm critiquing her, but because she's like the most formed slam player on the ladies' tour.
Yeah, at the moment. But I mean, it just goes to show, think what she could do with a better second serve. So there's a lot of development. I mean, have you been more impressed by her run into the Paris, Roland Garros final, or here? Do you think?
It's a good question. I think with Paris and the French Open, there's almost kind of an unknown factor bursting on the scenes. No one was expecting it, and maybe the pressure was off, a little bit until the moment she reached the final. Whereas here, there's more eyes on her, there's more camera on her, there's more press. Italian press has been packed, during the fortnight. And yes, you could say that eyes have probably been on players like Yannick Sinner, Musetti as well. But I think I've been more impressed with her Wimbledon run in terms of the fact that she's backed it up. It wasn't just a flash in the pan at the French Open. She has backed it up. And considering the change court surfaces from clay to grass in such a short period of time, it is not something that happens very often. Serena Williams was the last player to make that transition and reach the French Open singles final and the Wimbledon singles final, and she did that in 2016 on the ladies circuit. So it just shows how hard of a transition that is to make. I mean, even Iga Swiatek is still trying to work things out on the grass courts.
Yeah, if you look at over the last, I think, 17 years, the players who have reached the final at both the French Open and Wimbledon in the same season, I'll just read out the names. This is the sort of company that Jasmine Paolini is keeping. Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, Novak Djokovic, Serena Williams, Andy Murray, and now Jasmine Paolini. Wow. I mean, Carlos Alcaraz will be hoping to do that as well, obviously tomorrow. But yeah, it is remarkable, and I think it is more impressive what she's done here. Yeah. And she hadn't won a grass court match, as we've said, before this year. So absolutely fantastic. Can she go one step further? We'll be looking at her opponent in the final in the second half.
Well, I tell you, the good omen for her is that when Serena Williams did that in 2016, she lost the French Open final. Jasmine Paolini lost the French Open final, but Serena won Wimbledon. So is that an omen for Paolini, maybe?
That's making me think, who on earth did Serena lose the 2016 final to?
That is a very good question.
I'm struggling to think who that would have been against. Joel is now Googling.
I'm frantically Googling who that is.
In the meantime, while you're Googling, I'm going to talk about Henry Patton because he is into the men's doubles finals. So he's a British player. He's partnered with Harry Heliövaara from Finland. They beat fellow Brit Neil Skupski and also Michael Venus, who's New Zealand, in straight sets out on court 1 today. So we do have a Brit in the doubles final, which is fantastic. Muguruza, thank you, Joel. That's excellent. Of course it's Muguruza.
Of course it's Muguruza.
How could we forget? And she obviously won Wimbledon, the year later, I think, 2017. Yeah. So not quite in the same year, though. But yeah, Henry Patton, Joel, men's doubles finalist, age 28. He's never gone beyond the third round of a Grand Slam before. So maybe he's doing a bit of a Jasmine Paolini himself here.
You don't become an accomplished men's doubles player until at least you're 30.
Age 28.
Yeah, 28,
he's quite
30,
young then.
35, 40. Yeah.
They will have it up against them, though. They've got Purcell and Thompson in the final.
Very tough.
Very established
doubles pairing.
Aussie pairing.
But very good for Patton. I mean, we all know from British fans, they sort of came on, Patton and Cash. They sort of cleaned up on the Challenger circuit in the doubles. Now, Patton has a new partner in Heliövaara, also a very accomplished doubles player. So very promising for them because their partnership is relatively new. And another kind of success story for British tennis because Patton also came through, I believe he came through the college system similar to likes of Cam Norrie, for example. But yeah, to see him sort of make his make good on his doubles career, I think is very promising. And I was reading earlier about the fact that I think like a lot of doubles players, he came to a crossroads with singles in terms of do I commit to the singles, do I commit to singles and doubles, or do I just kind of go in on all the doubles? And it looks like the decision he made to focus on the doubles and that as his career is paying off.
Yeah, and well, good luck to him. He will be, very much the underdog, I think, come Saturday. But he's been the underdog all tournament, so hopefully that will allow him to play freely in the final. And Neil Skupski won the title last year, so hopefully we may get a British champion.
We've got a conveyor belt, don't we?
2 years in a row.
We've got a conveyor belt of, I feel like, of very strong men's doubles players. The only thing I would just say, it's always sad when it's not an all-British pairing, I feel, because I'm always thinking about Davis Cup. I'm always thinking about the Olympics as well. So that's the only thing I'm like, yeah. But having said that, it's great to have at least one Brit into the men's doubles final.
Absolutely. Well, let's take a very quick break now, but do join us in the second half where we'll be looking at the other women's semi-final match that took place today. Barbora Krejcikova making her way through to her second singles Grand Slam final. We'll also be looking ahead to the men's semi-finals action tomorrow, so do not go anywhere.
Hi, Barbora. Joel from Tennis Weekly podcast. You did a fan Q&A on Twitter the other day, and you said that during rain delays, you build Lego and sleep. I just wanted to ask, what Lego sets are you working on at the moment?
I have many of them, actually. And I even received some from my team last night. I like to do a lot of the architecture. So I did that one, and I think I did some like Milky Way couple weeks ago. I'm a fan of Harry Potter, so I did a couple of Harry Potter. I did the Dobby one.
Are you hoping for a centre court Lego set at some point?
Sorry?
A centre court Lego set
Is there one?
Well,
if they build one for me, I'll do it.
That was Barbora Krejcikova on what she does during rain delays. She loves a bit of Lego. I love the fact that she's done a Dobby Lego set.
She loves Harry Potter.
It's great, isn't it?
But Kim, the big question is, and maybe it's a question for Wimbledon, where is the centre court Lego set? I don't think there is one. Listeners, please correct us if we are wrong.
Maybe they're worried about it being like a jigsaw that's going to be used by protesters. It'll be in that sort of category of
But
games.
maybe limited, if Krejcikova, maybe she becomes Wimbledon champion, surely someone needs to get her a centre court Lego set, special edition.
Or one of the trophy. But she did say she likes architectural ones, so centre court would go quite nicely.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. What Lego sets would you be interested in?
Oh, that's a good point. Maybe something like a nice Gaudi building in Barcelona.
Oh, sorry, I'm not as cultured as you. Kim. What is
Gaudi.
What is a Gaudi building?
A Catalan architect.
Oh, of course, that Gaudi.
Yes.
Okay.
What about you, Joel? What Lego set would you be all over? A Wetherspoons?
McDonald's.
McDonald's
drive-through off the roundabout set. Yes.
Oh gosh.
It'd be great though to get.
Do they even make that?
Probably not.
Probably
no,
not.
but in all seriousness, maybe
Who
like
would buy that?
I'd love to see Lego sets of tennis stadiums
Monte Carlo
and
would
venues.
be nice.
Yeah. Or Arthur Ashe.
Yeah.
Centre court.
Yeah.
That should happen.
Well, get Chris on the phone to the HQ in
Copenhagen.
Denmark. Yeah.
Get the red telephone out. Go speak to Lego. We've got to make this collab happen. Lego and tennis.
Well, Krejcikova obviously has been using Lego wisely to focus herself during rain delays. That's helped her come through to this stage. Didn't have to contend with the rain today, but she did have to contend with Elena Rybakina. She was a set down to Rybakina, but she came through to win in 3 sets, turning the match around to get the victory in just over 2 hours.
I did not see this coming, Kim. I did not see this coming. I thought set up. Even 4-love up in that first set. It just looked like it was one-way traffic to Rybakina. Rybakina, many people's favourite for the title. It just looked like it was going to be kind of almost in complete contrast that first semi-final. We're just going to see Rybakina straight into it.
Yeah, and in the second set, Rybakina did have a chance to break. She would have been a set and a break up. And it, at that point, you would have, rightly thought, yeah, she's on her way through to, her second Wimbledon final. She was your pick for the tournament, Joel, from the very beginning. She's looked pretty good all fortnight up to this point. And, she did look really good in that first set. 4-love lead, she went off, great serving, big hitting. But Krejcikova, funnily enough, she has won both of their previous, matchups. So although
she always prevails.
Not for 2 years. Since
she always seems to prevail in the end. And I actually think in those other two matchups that she also went a set down in those and came through. So there is something a little bit about Krejcikova that it is Rybakina's kryptonite. We speak about Ostapenko being Swiatek's kryptonite if you look at their head-to-head. And, at the moment with Rybakina, I think what Krejcikova did so well was that she had a lot of variety. She brought a lot of variety to the court. She mixed up her pace, she mixed up her spins, and she just didn't give one standard ball for Rybakina to kind of go after and to hit. And it really kind of upset her rhythm, and it got her out of her rhythm. And that was what I was impressed by, and the fact that she was also able to kind of keep it close, particularly in that second set when, as I say, the first set just kind of flew by. She did sort of wrestle it back towards the end because she did have one, I think she did get one of the breaks back, but the fact that she was able to keep it close and wait for her opportunities, I also think helped her ultimately get the win.
And, even getting over the second set, she, I think, double faulted on set point a couple of times, but she did manage to get over that that hurdle, actually close out the second set. And then, it was sort of 3-3 in the third set when she got that pivotal break and managed to, serve it out there. And, I mean, just managing, I think, although there were some nervy moments, just staying calm, knowing she could kind of come from behind, even getting off to that slow start, Rybakina kind of coming out all guns blazing. I think Krejcikova, having beaten Rybakina before and, also being at this stage of a Grand Slam as well, she has been there, once at this stage. Obviously winning the French Open 3 years ago. I think
that, Krejcikova knows she's got the formula down to beat Rybakina, and she knows how to extract unforced errors, I think, from the Rybakina ground strokes. And I think that was, again, I think that's the key with, when you play someone who is so aggressive and can just hit winners for fun, you've really got to give them different types of balls and almost ask that question, can you hit a winner off this ball? Can you hit a winner off that ball? And there were too many different types of balls that I think that Krejcikova was giving her that she just wasn't able to ultimately able to handle. Yeah,
she really did a good job of disrupting Rybakina's rhythm. And, Rybakina's, her first serve percentage for the fortnight's been up in I think 75 plus. Today it had dropped, 67. So she was, being kind of moved out of her rhythm by Krejcikova.
Do you think it was a shock?
Possibly, I think.
Despite the head-to-head?
I think when you go 4-love up and you win the first set pretty easily, I think you kind of, part of you must think, oh, okay, this is maybe going better than I thought it might. And that might kind of lull you into full sense of security. So, which, at your peril, you can't afford to do that. But Krejcikova, she joins a history of Czech players who have got to this stage of the Wimbledon tournament. Obviously, defending champion Vondrousova, also from the Czech Republic. We've had Pliskova in recent years as a finalist. Kvitova, two-time champion. Jana Novotna in the 90s.
Navratilova.
Mandlikova as well. So I think, she obviously has a long heritage of players who've come before her that she's sort of emulating. She would become, on Saturday, the 6th Czech champion in history should she win. And I think, a very emotional moment as well. She's been asked about this in press. The influence of the late Jana Novotna, who coached her for several years, actually, the year that Novotna died. And we can hear from Krejcikova now, actually, on the subject of Novotna and also Czech players.
I mean, we had many players. There have been so many. I mean, there was Petra Kvitova playing, Šafařová playing, Hradecká, Bára Strýcová. I mean, we had so many players. It's, I grew up watching Fed Cup, being in the O2 Arena in Prague in Czech Republic, watching many finals. So everybody that was on the team was kind of a player that that I was like kind of like looking up to. And then I mean, after my juniors career, it was a lot about Jana, because I had a opportunity to meet her and to spend time with her and see like how she behaves, who she is, and how such a big champion she is.
In the on-court presentation afterwards, the story of Novotna came up because she's been an inspiration to Krejcikova, a mentor as well, and you could just see visibly how much Novotna meant to Krejcikova, because she had to have a moment, because she started crying on the court. There were tears, and you can still see how close I think Novotna is to Barbora Krejcikova's heart, and you wonder how, as I say, how motivating that is going to be going into this final, because I do think she's playing for Jana Novotna.
Yeah, and I mean, rightly so. It's obviously very dear to her heart, as you said, and we heard that when she won her French Open, 3 years ago, and it was very emotional then as well. And the fact that Novotna did it herself on grass, I think it sort of becomes even more emotional when Barbora is emulating it here, or attempting to, I should say. I mean, we've got a final that perhaps neither of us and many of our listeners would have predicted. 2 first-time Wimbledon finalists. They have both been at this stage of a Grand Slam before, obviously Krejcikova being a winner. She's also won, I think, 10 doubles Grand Slams, so very accomplished in that, of course. They have played, I think, once before, Krejcikova, I think, getting that win. Famously, well, maybe not famously, but there's been people doing a lot of research since this matchup was confirmed. They did play in the Australian Open 2018 qualifying first round, I think.
Yeah, very niche stat. But
yes, incredible
to think. Yeah, a qualifier at the was it AO 2018, now a Wimbledon final.
Yeah.
I mean, Kim, where for you will this be? Do you think this will be won and lost?
Paolini's second serve, maybe. I think Krejcikova maybe will have the edge because she just plays that kind of slightly different brand of tennis, might disrupt Paolini's rhythm, and might just stay a bit calmer under the pressure. But I don't know. It's really going to be tough. I do think we're looking at a 3-set final. I do hope Paolini is more competitive in the final than she was at Roland Garros, but she's not going to be facing Iga Swiatek on the court that she excels so much at. So it will be a final in which we all believe she's got more chance than we did at Roland Garros. Yeah,
and I think from Krejcikova's side as well, she's not going to be intimidated, I think, or threatened by, no matter how big Paolini says she hits the ball. The fact that Krejcikova has disarmed Rybakina essentially.
Ostapenko as well.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to be intimidated by that at all. But she's going to have to make Paolini work for it. And I think just looking at that head-to-head, we've got essentially 2 doubles players as well in
they're
the
both
singles
solidly
final.
good at doubles.
So I also wonder if we're going to get some net exchanges, and whether coming into the net, killing off the point early could also be a tactic both of them potentially could use, because they've got their weapons, and really is from all over the court. And I would just say with Krejcikova, based on how she started as well, I think you've got to watch how she also starts in this final against Paolini, because I don't think, again, you can go down for love to your opponent and give them all that momentum. And I think we saw that with Paolini. She just thrives on having a moment and running with it, and that's not the start you want to give her in a Grand Slam final.
Yeah, I mean, are we predicting now, or are we saving that for tomorrow, Joel?
Ooh. Well, let's think about it. Let's sleep on it. Let's keep our
give
listeners.
Ourselves more time.
Give us more time. Let's give our listeners on tenterhooks. But we'll come back. We'll come back for our women's singles finals preview tomorrow.
I will ask you to predict the men's semis, though, because they're happening tomorrow.
Here we go.
Day 12 was upon us.
I can do that for you.
Imminently. Centre court action opens at 1:30 tomorrow with Daniil Medvedev against Carlos Alcaraz, followed by Lorenzo Musetti against Novak Djokovic. Are we going to get a repeat of last year's final, Joel? Ooh. What's happening?
I think so. I didn't think we were going to get it, but I think we are, looking at those semi-finals. Yeah, I'm going to back Alcaraz in 4 sets. Djokovic in 3 sets, I think. I know the last 2 have gone to 5, but this is Djokovic. This is centre court. He's rested. He's fully recuperated. And I think that might be a little bit of a straightforward job for Djokovic. And yeah, I can see Carlos Alcaraz coming through as well. But I think, we're in for a fantastic day, men's semi-finals action. What do you think?
Broadly similar, to be fair. I think Alcaraz may be in 5. I think Medvedev might spring a bit of a surprise. But Djokovic,
he's in rude health at the moment in terms of his 5-set record. So it could be quite an interesting one if it does go that distance, because we normally say that's Carlos Alcaraz's domain. But hey, Medvedev's record in the 5th set, I think he's won 5 of his last 6.
Just not in Grand Slam finals.
So, yeah. So, it could be quite an interesting tug of war there.
Grass-Vedev.
Kim.
I mean...
Grass-Karaz.
Novak Djokovic is in 3 sets, though, I think.
Grassetti.
Oh, Lorenzo Grassetti, yeah.
Djokovic doesn't really work, does it? Graskovic.
Grass Djokovic. No, that right. We're descending into the pit of.
Do you think we'll hear any boos
now
for Novak Djokovic?
Well,
because his name was brought up in
Lorenzo
in the
Musetti.
Yeah,
maybe.
Because Musetti, when his name was brought up in their press on court after he defeated Taylor Fritz, there were a few audible boos for.
Is
Djokovic.
That because those members of the crowd thought that Djokovic had sort of slagged off the crowd,
maybe
saying that they were booing when they weren't, so now people are genuinely booing.
What do you reckon?
That. Oh, that's a bit meta, isn't it? Nah, well, there's always. I mean, no one should be getting booed unless they're genuinely doing something terrible.
It's pantomime
in that
booing.
case, yeah, I think it's just like you said. He's behind you. Oh no, he isn't. Oh yes, he is. But yes, we'll be back tomorrow to round up what does happen. Will it be an Alcaraz Djokovic final again? Let's wait and find out.
Let's wait and find out indeed. Looking forward to those 2 men's semi-finals. But listeners, we're going to leave it there once again. I hope you've enjoyed our latest episode of the Tennis Weekly podcast. Remember to subscribe to us to stay up to date on all the action to come from Wimbledon. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all major podcasting platforms out there. And if you like what you're hearing, then make sure to leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
You can also purchase exclusive Tennis Weekly merch at etsy.com/shop/tennisweeklypodcast. Email the show as well at tennisweeklypod@gmail.com. And don't forget to check out our website, tennisweekly.co.uk.
And we will be back tomorrow from Wimbledon at Tennis Weekly HQ for our Day 12 catch-up, including those men's semi-finals. So I hope you can join us for that. But in the meantime, it's goodbye from Kim.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. We'll see you again soon.